Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Mosquitoes, carpenter bees, termites, bed bugs. Then there's just the normal creepy crawlies. They take care of all of these issues for you. They also do crawl space encapsulation, folks, and what that can help you with is it keeps humidity out of your vents, out of your home, protects your flooring and subflooring. It helps allergies because you're not getting mold and mildew in your home. It's another way to keep creepy crawlies and pests out of that place. Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Visit them at southeasttermite.com. I went over and spoke with Matthew Haynes this week. Just good people. They're just great people. It's one thing I love about the sponsors on this show, and it's one reason we don't just take anybody that comes by. We actually want to have somebody that's a good fit that I believe in that I can tell you about. This is one of those companies. Been around for more than 50 years. I use them myself. Love all the guys on this show. This is a great example of the kind of people we bring in here. Trust me, Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Okay, we had a different segment planned. We're throwing that out the window. I want to talk only about Brandon Huntley Hatfield, and I'll start with you two guys. I wonder, Rick Barnes was asked this week about the transfer portal because he doesn't dive into it the way other schools are. You know, you've seen Auburn, Kentucky go out and grab guys. Now Arkansas is rolling with 3 5-stars coming in there. Is college basketball as it's spun today in this world where you get 5 stars in, we don't have to sit around. Play me or I'm gone. And we don't know that that's the case with Huntley Hatfield. We think it is, but if we find out differently, fine. In this world, is the Rick Barnes, to steal a Derek Dooley thing, the bamboo plan, we water you, you grow, you get better, we build a culture, which has worked. It's worked wonderfully. Is it still going to work in this environment? Josh Ward.
Well, it's a big fear because one thing that has definitely happened the last couple of years, the recruiting has gone to a higher level with Keon Johnson, right, Jaden Springer, and Kennedy Chandler, and Huntley Hatfield who came in. And you got really good results this season, but postseason, that's still the big question, right? Yeah. And you need that talent when you get to the postseason, but you want it to develop in Barnes' system. And if it's not going to, then you just keep coming back to the same over and over again off-season question. If I were Rick Barnes, I would be really aggressive in the transfer portal. I would change my idea there and say, okay, well, if we're not going to be able to develop, let's go get guys that have
I'd
developed.
go after Huntley Hatfield.
A Huntley Hatfield type, perhaps. But I would be more aggressive in the transfer portal because the program is established. So I would try to sell that to guys that have maybe had success elsewhere, not an E.J. Anosike, with all due respect to him, because he's a good quality player, but a lower level. Guys that belong at an Alabama and Arkansas, I would put myself in the mix because I would trust my recruiting ability with what my program is. And it's a good culture. I would go after those kind of guys, say, you have one more year in college, come spend it here with us, and we'll have success.
You know, I think Josh is right about a lot of that. I mean, you got Grant Williams and Admiral Schofield, 2 players that will go down in UT basketball history, and when they got here, nobody was sitting there going, we got Grant Williams from Harvard. I mean, it sets things. So the higher level of recruiting sets the bar higher for the kid. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily the coaches, but it set higher for the kid. And so you had Huntley Hatfield not playing this year. Look who you had in front of him. Look at the end. I thought you could tell he looked like more of a 5-star guy at the end when he was playing. And we talked about it between the break. You're playing John Fulkerson, who is also a fan favorite, but who also peaked probably 2 years ago. And then because of medical issues and other things, he never took that next step forward. So him out of the mix, is Huntley Hatfield playing more, and then this discussion doesn't have to happen, because I think you're right. You get 5 stars, they're not going to sit and develop like a Schofield or a Williams or some of these guys.
Because you also have, when you get a 5-star, you're getting all the hangers on with the 5-star. Yes. You're getting parents who know they've got a kid who's a 5-star who are saying, play my kid. You're getting the high school coach or the handler or whatever.
Josiah Jordan-James, who stuck it out,
different beast.
Yes. Continued to fight, get better. His mindset, his maturity, that's going to be tough to find.
Yeah. Yes, and that's the kind of guy that Rick Barnes has thrived with. The Grant Williams, guys who develop. But
Josiah Jordan-James, that's the pattern he followed. It was more of a Grant Williams than a Kennedy Chandler.
I wonder if Fulkerson had gone and not come back this year. And I don't want to pile on John Fulkerson by any means. That's not what I'm getting at. But if he had done that, would that have forced Rick Barnes into playing Huntley Hatfield more? Or as has been brought up on the show, would he have sat there and said, he's not practicing right, so it's just more Uros Plavsic, and we're not going to play Adu either. It's
Or
just,
smaller,
it's just
yeah.
all
Yeah.
Plavsic. At some point, coaches are all set in their ways, all of them. It's rare to find a guy who can say, yeah, I'm going to completely shift what I do because I've had success with this, but I'm doing something different now. But I just wonder if he needs to get to the point where he says, you're my best player at this position, you're my best player at this position. I don't care how you practice. If you don't practice well, I'm going to tear you up. I'm going to destroy you in the media, which he has no problem doing in the press conferences. But I am going to play you. You're not going to sit.
See, I don't
can't
think Rick,
waste
I don't
you.
think
I
Rick
don't-
Barnes would ever do that.
There you go.
I can't say this is an old school coach that has over 750 wins, right?
Right.
You know, and then, you know, when you look at this, let's don't forget how effective Tennessee was with the 4-guard lineup too. I mean, that cut down some of the minutes as well. But I mean, it's the whole shebang. You just wish this could have been handled behind closed doors.
Well, it was handled behind closed doors.
Well, without him going to,
Without him going to the open door.
Yeah. But I just hate to see it.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to blow up another segment. Let's roll this over. Let's continue this conversation next. Throw out the tees. We don't need to put up a graphic, Chris. We're just going to continue talking about this situation and Rick Barnes and Huntley Hatfield and et cetera, next. Come on back on the Sports Source.